Think back to the last mouth-watering meal you had on a flight that left you thinking you wish they served seconds. I'll give you a moment. I mean, hey, it happens. There's always that one-off trip where you think, I don't know if it's the sleep-deprived 6 hours at 35,000 feet passenger in me making the best out of a bland, creamy Alfredo pasta soup concoction, but this is actually tasting pretty good. For the most parts, however, I'm willing to bet you'd struggle to point out any particular meal you had on an airplane that stuck to your mind. Maybe the tomato juice. Stick around till the end, we'll get to that one. In an August 2017 interview, star chef and cuisine magnate Gordon Ramsay told Refinery 29 in his typically charming fashion that there's no effing way I eat on airplanes. I worked for airlines for 10 years, so I know where this food's been and where it goes and how long it took before it got on board. Now obviously I would take that with a grain of salt, having seen Gordon Ramsay's cutthroat culinary standards. But why does airliner food taste a little off at best? After all, it's not for any lack of inherent quality to the individual ingredients. Let's look at Qatari, for example. Earlier this year, a travel writer visited the Qatar Airways catering company in Doha's international airport. The facility is one of, if not the world's largest of its kind, with 16 kitchens, an in-house food testing lab, and a storage warehouse. They produce 200,000 meals a week, mostly from scratch. Each day, they go through over 75 tons of fresh fruits and vegetables and 10 tons of potatoes alone. Each vegetable should be washed, sanitized, whatever that means, peeled, chopped, and sliced by hand. So if it's not the ingredients, what makes airline food in most cases mediocre at best? Turns out there's more than one factor contributing to it, a couple of them fascinatingly scientific. First, for safety reasons, they tend to be overcooked to err on the side of caution, especially poultry. Robust spices are generally avoided for liability reasons, which is a difficult place to start with for the chefs. Second, the logistics involved make it impossible for the food to be served fresh unless cooked on board. From the time it's cooked to when it enters your belly with your reluctant hands, it could be a matter of hours. The food is frozen by the airlines prior to takeoff and allowed to thaw while up in the air. When it's time to eat, for the food to be served warm, it would need to be reheated, which results in dryness and an unpleasant texture. Airline caterers get around this, for better or for worse, by practically soaking the food in a variety of liquid, like tomato sauce for one. This removes any luxury to have well-proportioned flavor profiles, with the sauce or other liquid bases even tasting overpowering at times. Some airlines do keep different components of the meal, the meat, potatoes, vegetables, in separate foil compartments, and then arrange them on a plate according to specifications on board. But this is limited to first class and business class passengers. Us economy riding beggars can't be choosers. This brings us to our next reason why airline food tastes different. Even the most delicious meal on the ground would succumb in one way or another to dry air in the cabin, which suppresses our sense of smell. Who here remembers plugging their nose as a kid to eat something they didn't like? The sense of smell is an important factor in taste. Now this next reason caught me by surprise, and I find it fascinating. Airplane food tastes off regardless of quality because of the relatively low cabin pressure in an airplane as compared to being at sea level. A typical cabin altitude of 8,000 feet means we're all eating as if we're in Machu Picchu, Peru. Reduced air pressure means less oxygen saturation in the blood, which according to a 2010 study conducted by the Fraunhofer Institute for Building Physics in collaboration with Lufthansa, affects the olfactory and taste receptors. There's also the loud hum of the jet engine noise. That's right, low air pressure and constant background noise both serve to repress our ability to taste sweet and salty flavors. This is why airline caterers add up to 30% more sugar and salt to their meals. Aroma chemist Dr. Andrea Burdick-Freytag, commenting on the study, said in the air, food and drink tastes as it does when we have a cold. The same study, however, also concluded that while loud aircraft noises suppress the ability to taste sweet and salty foods, they actually enhance our ability to sense umami, a unique savory taste found in ingredients like Parmesan cheese, soy sauce, and tomatoes. So if you're like me and you look at the flight attendant with a "I know I'm weird, but," and proceed to order tomato juice on your next flight, you now know it's a result of your airborne umami detecting superpowers. Tomatoes are a great source of umami flavor. The sweet yet savory taste comes from their high glutamic acid content. The same study also prompted Lufthansa to explore using more naturally intense flavors in their food, such as orange, tomato oils, and tomato concentrate, to avoid having to add in extra sugar and salt. I hope now you see that tomato sauce your pasta is drenched in serves more purposes than one. If you like this video, click that like button and give the channel a subscription for a lot more aviation content like this.